Hey everyone, Bill Nichols here, Bill Nichols TV. Today I want to bring you a video showing you the differences between the Google Pixel, which is the new Google phone that just came out. It's their first pure play Google phone that's 100% Android, besides the Google Nexus, but it's their first one where they're actually manufacturing, they're releasing it like Apple would. And it's available from Google, it's available from Verizon and some others. I picked up one directly from Google. It's the 128 gigabyte Google, just the regular Google Pixel, not the Google Pixel XL. The differences between the Google Pixel and the Pixel XL are just the size, and I think the onboard RAM might be different, but overall the cameras and everything else are the same. So I thought that I would take the Google Pixel and put that up against the iPhone 7 Plus, show you some side-by-side video comparisons. So pretty much everybody knows about the iPhone. You know, the iPhone 7 Plus, it's got the dual lenses. So that you can go in, 200%, so you can go from, I think, 20 to 40 millimeters or 25 to 50, whatever it is. But it's just a 2x optical zoom, and it just does that by switching between the cameras. So you've got two back here, one in the front. Then other than that, pretty standard iPhone. I tell you, I like it. I mean, it's nice and stable. The phone's got a lot of features. The camera's got a lot of features like slow-mo and panoramic and, time-lapse and all of those that are built in. And then you've got the Google Pixel here. Now this is the Google Pixel. I actually really like the design of it. A couple things that I like. The iPhone has its fingerprint sensor in the home button. The Google Pixel doesn't have a home button up front. It's all glass. And what that does is it kind of frees up the screen here so that you've got just this big glass screen. Really the screen real estate isn't any greater than the Apple. You just want to have this home button here. But what you do have is on the back is where the fingerprint sensor is. So you enroll your fingerprint, you press on it, it's very fast to react and open up. The screen's gorgeous. It's a really great phone, actually, overall. The camera I'm really impressed with. I'll say even before I get in to show the two cameras side by side. And all that I'm going to really show in this kind of review or overview is a split of the cameras. I'm going to show you some different modes. So overall, I'm highly impressed with the Google Pixel phone's camera and video features. The Android operating system is nougat. It's all new. You're going to get, if you get it from Google, you're going to get the updates directly instead of it going through Verizon and you having to wait. And then I ordered this actually with Google Fi. It's a pretty cool phone service. It's $20, unlimited text in minutes. And then it's just $10 per gig, and whatever you don't use, they refund. So if you say that you're going to use 4 gigs, but then throughout the course of the month you only use 2, you get a bill and it basically says $20 for text and voice, $40 for data, but you only use 2 out of 4 gigs. Here's $20 back, and they end up charging you $40. A couple of curious things that I found, I've been trying to investigate them, and I can't really figure out why, is that it seems to go through data a lot quicker. I go through a ton of data on my phone, on my iPhone, because I don't really connect to Wi-Fi. Just so I don't have to worry about any security issues, and I have unlimited data grandfathered from Verizon, so I use a massive amount of data every month. I love it, and it's still a really low rate. The Google Pixel, I signed up for a 6 gig plan, and I really quickly went through 6 gigs, which I expected on the setup, but then after that I thought that it would slow down, and it really didn't, so I turned the data off. And then the other thing is that the Project Fi, the way that it works is it wants to do Wi-Fi calling when it can, so it encourages you to stay connected, to have your Wi-Fi turned on all the time. Just kills battery life a little bit because it's always searching for Wi-Fi networks. And then it's going to connect to trusted networks and it'll do all of your calling, all of your data through there. So in effect, it should reduce your data usage and it should take your calls over that Wi-Fi network. But I found that to be spotty at best. And really the service, the Project Fi service, I had some issues with it. I had issues connecting, I had issues with clarity, I had issues with call dropping. And so I just turned it off a lot of the time. I turned off Wi-Fi and just went over the data network. And it's still, I had some issues, so I don't think it's totally quite ready. Or, it's not really as good as Verizon's or probably AT&T's network. I know that they're piggybacking like an MVNO, so a mobile virtual network operator, over others' systems. But I just think they're having a little bit of growing pains. But the phone, the fit and finish on it is really great. So let's jump in. I'm going to show you really quick how I tested these. I just built a really cheap, cheesy rig for this. So all I did was I got these little phone mounts here for about $5. They're right here. It's actually a piece of cooking cedar. So this is just a cedar plank, part of a cedar plank that I cut that you normally use for cooking. And I attached these with these 2 little screws. I have a hole here where I put a tripod head mount, and then I just put these guys in here like this. Line them up, relatively close, So I know that when you're viewing this, the angles of view are going to be slightly different, only because there's a little bit of parallax because they're just right next to each other here. But I just took this rig out with me. I had people looking at me like I was crazy when I was at the mall or whatever. You'll see all those videos. But with that, let's jump into the part now where I'm recording this studio setup with these two phones. All right, everyone, so right now, this is going to be a little bit of an unusual format. Just so that you know what's going on here, I have the two cameras in the rig that I showed you. They're side by side. I have no external audio that I'm recording, so each one that you hear, and I'll put each one on the screen differently. Right now, there's split screen. This is the iPhone 7 Plus, and this is the Google Pixel. It's just the Google Pixel standard. It's the 5-inch, not the 5.5. The Google XL and the Google Pixel, so the Pixel XL and the Pixel, they have the same camera sensor, all of that. So nothing different like the iPhone 7 Plus. So I'm recording audio directly on the phones, so I'll just switch between them. So just right now, I'll talk to the Google one. And I had them on this rig. And what I wanted to do was to show how they would react in something that's well lit. So what I have going on in here is I have two Kino Flow lights up here as the main lights. There's a little hair light here that you can't see. And then behind me there's a light that's attached to my seat, and that's putting the gradient onto the background wall. So with that, this is where I record every day with my other cameras, and what I was recording earlier with the Panasonic G7. So I thought a good idea would be to do a short piece, show this here in the studio, what kind of a picture you can get. When I did a preview, what I noticed right off the bat was that the iPhone 7 was warmer, and the Google Pixel picked this up as being daylight temp, which is the correct temp that it should be. So I think the Google Pixel does a better job in evaluating the scene, selecting the correct light balance, the correct white balance, that is. Now, on these, what I did was I just went into the settings. I set them both to 4K, 30 frames a second, and then I opened up the camera app, switched them both to video, and then at that point, I did nothing else except press record. I didn't set the exposure on the screen. I didn't change white balance. I didn't change the scene, anything. I wanted to get these directly out on just full auto, let them do what they're going to do, let them focus where they're going to focus. They should be finding my face and focusing on me. I wanted them to meter and expose, and I wanted them to set their own white balance. So now that we've got this kind of talking head piece out of the way, and you can see how these do here in a somewhat studio setting under good lighting, I'm going to show you a bunch of scenes that I took with both phones. I made them as identical as I could. So I'll play these scenes. You'll see it's going to run for a couple of minutes so you can get a good evaluation of it. I'll do it split screen. I'll kind of break them up in between as well so that you can get a good idea. So if I switch to a single video image on the screen, I'll label what phone that is so that you know which one you're looking at. And then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. you thought below on the various videos that you saw. I'll tell you what I think overall. I think that the Google Pixel does a better job in color rendering. Not a lot. I mean, the iPhone 7 Plus is fantastic. But tell me what you think below if you have any questions or not. I'm probably not going to do anything on photography. I'll show you one thing though about photography where these differ. So they both have that kind of portrait mode that the iPhone has now in the latest version of iOS, where you can get that background, really deep depth of field effect. They accomplish it two different ways. So on the iPhone, in the camera settings, you just click portrait. Then as you're taking the picture, it tells you to back up or scoot forward so that you're about 8 feet from your subject. You take the picture, it's all done. Google has a different way of doing it. The way that they do it is that you frame your subject, you select them, you take the picture, and then it has you move the camera up. So if you're vertical or you're horizontal, you take the picture, so I'm focused on, let's say that I'm focused on you, I take your picture, and it tells me to move up, and then I move the camera up, and then that creates the blur. So I think what it's doing is it takes one picture, it finds the main subject, and then it takes a second picture really quick, and it holds the shutter open while you move it, and that kind of blurs the background or makes it out of focus. And then what it does is it goes into process, and that processing on the iPhone, you take the picture and it's done. On here, it took anywhere between about 10 and 25 seconds for it to process that, that really shallow depth of field. So to get that really, nice bokeh. They both did a great job on it, but I think the iPhone's was a little bit more polished, but they both work really well. So overall, I really like the Google Pixel. I think the design's great. A couple of cons on the phone. It's very, very slippery. I don't have a case on it, but this metal on the back is really slippery. And then the other thing is that the bezel, the glass really comes right to the edge, and this bezel is sunk down. And I didn't have any issues, but I have heard that people that have just laid these down, hardly at all on a table, that there's been quite a few broken screens. I haven't witnessed it. I don't know anybody that has, but it's something out there to look for. But I'd recommend if you're going to pick one of these up, go directly to Google and then put your own SIM in it so that you're not buying it from Verizon or whoever. Google will do a payment plan, whatever. So overall, I really like the Google Pixel. I think the camera is phenomenal. I think the video is really great. I filmed this whole thing in 4K so we can just do 4K all the way through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think below, and look out for more videos next week. You keep watching. I'll keep making videos. Thanks a lot.